Okay, I get back on the shovel motor here. Do a bunch of jumping around here. Customer brought in the other parts here for the main bearings. So now I go ahead and get back on setting up the cases to the crank over there. We decided we're going to use one of my crane cams here. So I got to get that fitted up into the cam cover here. And this pinion bush here was a little bit loose. We checked it the other way. Basically, you put that on there and see how loose it is. And hear it. You'll be able to see in there, maybe. I don't know. It's out of my view. Yeah. So anyway, it's a little bit loose. So I already honed the shaft here to get nice and smoothed up. So I'm going to put a new bushing in that for sure. I got to check the cam. So we got to work on that. We got to knock some valve guides in the heads. I got all the helical and all that done yesterday. I went down and polished this on the lathe here and smoothed out the surface here for the main bearing seal. So now this will fit on there a lot easier. So that's good. So I got to do the valves here. I go hone the stems and regrind them and get going on the heads. So got a lot of little stuff to do. It all adds up to doing a motor overhaul. So we're going to do a bunch of banging and stuff, making some noise, have some fun. So then I can do some work. Alright. Let's see. Let's do the valve guides first. What the hell? To get to work with a hammer is a good time, right? Okay, I already knocked out the other ones, so let's knock out these ones. Always put a little lubricant on the outside of the guide here to keep it from sticking a little bit, hopefully. So this is our pilot here that we beat on with. Here's the guide we took out before. So it just goes on there and you knock it out. This goes in this way and it comes out that way. So that's how we do it. Nice and tight, which is always good. So that's the exhaust. Here's the intake over here. So measure and see which ones are which. Okay, this one's 17.5 on the mic. I don't really care what size it is, I only care what size the guide is. That one's 18. Okay, so now we flop around over the other side over here to our drawer. Got a few valve guides to choose from over here. So just a couple. Alright, so just quickly measure that. 15 looks to be standard. That was 17, so that's a 2 to a 3 over. So these are row guides here, which I don't usually use very often. There you go, these are +2s. I usually like to kibble white guides, which are better. So grab a couple of those. We'll just grab all 3 of these right here. That makes it easier. You just grab a boxes of them. So we got to figure out which one we're going to use by beating them in the head. You find a tight one, you got a good one. Got our Sun and Press Fit lube here we use. It's a real high sulfur, slimy, gooey ass stuff here. So I'm going to try the 2 over first, see how it works. Just put a little bit out on the outside there. It's cold, so it's really sticky right now. It's already going kind of soft. Tighten up though. So there's the intake. It's fairly tight. Exhaust is probably going to need a little loose, a little bit tighter. So go with a 3. And 4, it says it's 4. Those are 2s, it said. What size do these say? These say 2. Well, this says 4, so it's in the wrong container. Dumbass put it in the wrong container. Gotta watch out for them around here. Appears I'm running out of 3s, almost out of these. There's low inventory count. Have to talk to the parts manager about ordering parts. Get right on that. Okay, that went in there pretty good. Next head. I'm going to go over and measure these other guides. Where are they at here? Appear to be the same sizing, so we'll do the same thing again. Now, the reason I like kibble guides is because they leave me a lot of material to hone out. The machining is better. They're more concentric. So those are all good things. All of those are pluses. You usually go for about a 2 thou press fit is what you shoot for. It's kind of a feel thing and what it sounds like. See that one in there pretty easy? Got tighter when you got further in there though. So that's kind of a toss up whether it's time to go to a 4 or not. So that one's pretty close. So kind of on the fence on that one. Could have used it. Yeah, it's a little tight. I mean a little loose, I think. So we're going to grab a 4. It's just a 4. I pretty much use all the exhaust guides. The intakes are just a tick smaller on the ID. I just hone them out anyway, it doesn't matter. Now this one will sound a little bit tighter when it goes in. The video's a little low there, I just can't see what I'm doing. See, I didn't just slip in there halfway like the other one did. You had to beat in there a little harder. So that's a better fit. That one I like. We'll go with that. It's got 2 2s, a 3, and a 4. There you go, there's the size we used. So I have to write those all down. Keep track of the numbers. Okay, keep track of your inventory. If you don't keep track of it, it goes all the hell. Alright. Takes care of that part of the project. I used a board so it doesn't tear up my workbench so much. Doesn't really hurt the heads beating on the steel. The stud banging on the workbench just put gouges in it. You got to file the gouges down to keep you from doing other damage to the heads and cases and other parts on the top. Okay, that one's out of the way. We're good to go for later. Okay, this one here is our left main bearing. So we've got to replace this. So I got to knock out the races here. So you do that just by beating on with a punch. Not the one for the valve guides though. Use a drift punch. Drift punches have a long stem on them. So this just comes in here like this. You just hit on the inside of the race, you go back and forth like this. You can either do it doubles back and forth and do a triples all the way boom, 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 like that. Your choice. So you're banging on it. You can see how it just comes out a little bit at a time. You just go back and forth on it. Boom, it's out. Now if you put the punch at too much of an angle, you'll put a beat marks on the side of the case here when you come out. So try not to do that. See how this one doesn't have any marks in it. This punch is getting all radiused over. See how it's got like a dome to it right now? That's why I didn't want to dig in very good on the race. Because I went to start beating on it right here on the edge. It kept sliding off because it's not flat where it digs in better. But they still come out. At some point I'll go flatten this out. But not now. Now I can press this one out now because I got access to it. There's a snap ring here in the middle that we don't take out. So you can actually press this one out right now, but I just beat them out. It's easier. See, I got practice doing that. Yeah, get that cam cover again. Alright, so now that thing's all the way out. So now you just wipe that out clean. Now before you go too much further, you come across here and feel the case. If this steel insert's at different heights than the aluminum, the insert's moving, which is not a good sign. You want to check it on both that side and on this side here. The real test is you heat the case at about 300 degrees. And if this insert is moving around at all, it'll loosen. The aluminum will expand out and get loose, and this will start moving on you. So you always want to make sure these inserts are tight because they're not supposed to move. If they do, you got problems. So this one's nice and flush, not moving, so we're good to go. That's just a quick check you do. So I'm going to wipe out the dirty grit and oil, whatever else is in here we don't want in here. See, that's clean stuff on there. Now usually if your alternator stator keeps coming loose, or the screws get sheared off, that means your insert is loose in the case. That would be a bad thing. Okay, this one here, there's a lot of grind marks in here for some reason. Not sure what all that's all about. See, somebody's been in there dicking around grinding on stuff, so not sure what that is. Looks like there goes some bang marks up here on this, so probably need to put a chamfer on that real quick. Somebody's been beating on it pretty heavily with a bunch of junk, so you got to put the seal in there. It'll grab on these sharp edges and tear the seal up, which is not good. So we're going to deburr this a little bit. Let's see how sharp our deburring tool is right now. So-so on the sharpness. Jumping around a little bit. Alright, so you can see how that, whoop, a little bit. See how it deburrs it out a little bit. Still feel some of these areas where they feel high. And I'm going to take a little bit of file and hit them right on that one spot. They're beating on it pretty heavy for some reason. Let's see, we got a half moon file. Find me a file here to use. Go. So this is a medium file. It's not too rough. It's not real fine, but it's not too rough either. Kind of in the middle. So we're going to use the half round part here. You see it doesn't do too much in the very tip, so we're going to work in that area where it doesn't do much. So I'm going to go over here, and we're just going to kind of rub it around here a little bit. You want to try to keep the file as flat as you can. Just go around the circle. You'll feel the high spots. So if you feel them, you keep going until they go away. Alright, knocked off most of the high spots, so now the seal should go in there relatively easily without destroying it, because we don't want to be doing that, obviously. Okay, it's our new main bearing. Supposed to be fitted. We'll see. They've been getting better again, but they were pretty bad for a while. And there goes a spacer shim you don't need, right? Okay, so you have a bearing, a cup, spacer, outer spacer, inner spacers on the floor, a cup, and another bearing. There's your inner spacer. Now this one here, you change the dimension of this, will change the in-play between the Timkins. I'll wrap the junk off of it so we put it on the floor and get dirt all over it. Alright, so right now, these are all the same dimensions, so I don't replace them. Why bother? Waste of time. All you do is by replacing this is tear the case up. So it doesn't make any difference putting them in new, it doesn't do anything. It's the stop for where the cup goes in, so there's no real wear on it. And taking it out of the case wears the case out, so it does damage, so I don't worry about using those. So all we really care about is putting in our new parts. So that's what we're going to go do. And all this other stuff needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Okay, this is sticky right now. Okay, so let's go put these in there. And I'm going to have to clean this case up one more time before I'm done, so that'll be the next thing after I push this in, is clean parts. Okay, I'll go down here and find a pushing sleeve. Got to find one that fits pretty tight in the case. And see, that one's pretty close. That'll be perfect. Okay, you only got just a little bit of an edge here to push against, like that. Go over here. Go up over there. Okay. I just push the outer one in first. So we just push it down here to press. It's in all the way. unsupported area right now. Some thin part is right here. This here is catching this side of the case. If you hold it on the sides like I had it, you get this whole area that's unsupported here, which is weaker. So I can break the case, center it, redo it, and go down until you hit. You heard the grit stuff when I hit it. Okay, now it's all the way down into the new one. Now you flip it over, do it the other way. Now if you want to put a spacer in here to push against this, it'd be better, but shovel case, you don't have to do it. That's what twin cam, crappy ass, thin ass case, you gotta do all that junk with. Okay, this one I just push it until it quits moving. That was about 2.5 tons of pressure, was where I topped at. Pretty much goes in with about 1.5 tons, pretty easy. Okay, so now they're all in there now. Pretty simple. No big deal doing that. Okay, I'm going to go clean this case so we can go ahead and put a motor together. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, we got the case all clean. Got the main bearings all cleaned off. Okay, now I gotta get this bearing off of this here. There's a spacer we're not using right now. Keep it just in case we need one though. I'm gonna pull this thing off. This bearing looks like it's pretty new, but we'll go ahead and pull it off in there. That's definitely new in there. Alright, I gotta get my tools up here, which are buried way up top up here. Half of it. There's the other half. Alright, so this is a tool nobody likes me using. I don't care what they say. So it's a clamshell puller that goes around the bearing. And then you got a 3-jaw puller, I only use 2 of to pull it off this little crank, which is this one. This, I was told, is off like an old Dodge truck from the 40s puller. Could be, because it's definitely made good. It's definitely old. Those usually go together, by the way. Old tools are made good. Now this, I've reground these so they're almost knife edge in here, so they get tucked in behind the bearing pretty good. Assuming there's even room to get in here. This one here barely gets in here. Basically only going to catch on the cage, which will destroy this bearing. But we're not using it again, so we don't care. Okay, so now I got just these two here. So this is pretty ingenious how they do this. It just slides in a circle and got a little notch here. Comes off. Simple. Simple stuff is not easy to come up with. Alright, so socket for this. Probably one of these big ones down here. There we go. Should just leave that thing on the damn thing. Simple. Okay. Rotate that one around a little bit. Screw this a little bit. Chin out of the way. And there we go. This is a little bit off center. Turn that screw up a little bit. Centers everything up. Okay. So we're just barely catching on the cage here, obviously. Now I made all this stuff here so I can get more angle here. That's why I got the countersink on it. See how it hits, does not hit really on this side, but it's hitting here on the inside. Same on this one. And then this here we just tighten it up. So you want this all to look like it comes out centered. So right now this one's pretty straight, but it looks like it's pulling slightly this way. So I'm going to tighten this up another flat right here. That should center me up. Now you put the zip gun on it and just pull the damn thing off. That's more than it looks. Keep turning the thing. Okay. That looks pretty straight. Now I went like almost a turn. Okay. Take a big 1/2 inch zip gun. Go for it. That's off. Just rotate this around until you get the spot where it pops off. Tool comes off nice easy. And you see where I was grabbing hold of the bearing there. So I wasn't even on the cage, I was actually on the rollers, if you look at it. So I barely got a hold of that thing, but comes off pretty easy. So even though I was on, like I said, I was only grabbing a hold of just the rollers here, it did come off. And it looks like it didn't damage the race, so I can reuse this. It didn't hurt it. So this could be reused if you want to. And the tool doesn't get damaged because it's a good heat-treated American-made tool. Yeah, it's even got a name on there, see? Read the name. I can't read it, too ground out. So, yeah, good tools are worth good money because they work. Doesn't matter what you got to pay for them. If they last, they're worth it. That's the key. They do have to work though. Let's see, how do I have this thing up here? Yeah, don't remember how I had this thing up there. We'll do it like that. It looks like an accident waiting to fall down up there, see? There's a lot of weight hanging off them hooks up there. Just don't touch it, it'd be fine. Okay, so now we got the crank off. We didn't do any damage to the snout, the crank. We didn't do any damage to that, and we didn't do any damage up here. So wipe that down there. You can see I'll pull off nice and cleanly. Do not do any damage. See? That's what you want to see. Okay, I'm going to go back and clean this up a little bit because it's been sitting. And I want to make sure there's no dirt and dust and crap on it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up really good, and we'll be back.